So can you tell me about when you first arrived at the school and what it was like back in the heyday, I guess, really, wasn't it?
I would have been 6 years old, I think, Megan, when I started school here. And I used to have to walk about 2-3 k's to get on the school bus, and the school bus was a truck with a canopy on the back, and we used to get in this canopy, and it was dusty as hell. It was really uncomfortable. The summertime was dreadful. And then you spent your day at school here, and then got back on the bus and another 2 or 3 k's to walk home again. So it was long days, and we used to have a break after lunch where all the little kids, the sort of 5, 6, 7-year-olds they had a series of stretchers type beds, and we used to always go to sleep for an hour, and that was something I remember quite clearly.
What was it like in the winter then? If you had to walk 2 or 3 k, did you do it, or did you just sort of
Oh yeah, we
take
did
time
it,
off?
but I can't remember that as being as difficult as the heat. I remember that the heat was the worst than being cold. I don't remember being cold.
And your association with the school didn't stop at being a pupil here, did it? So can you tell me about that?
When Catherine and I were married in 1967, and I came here as the principal of the school then. When we arrived, there were 72 kids in the school, 2 classrooms, and I really enjoyed my time here. The people associated with the school committee were a wonderful group of people. They were great guys. And by the time I left here, after 5 years, there were 84 kids in the school, and they built another classroom, and it was a really busy little country school. It was thriving, it was going really well. I think it was made a lot easier for me because at that time I was playing golf for Otago, and I was sort of well-known figure in the sporting world. Shorty Clark, Colin Clark, and I were in the same class at school when we were here together. And he was playing golf. He was playing rugby for Otago. I was playing golf for Otago, and people supported the school. They supported Catherine and I. They were just a great time. The kids were wonderful. Some of the kids that I taught here very fondly, some clever kids, gifted personalities and things like that. And one of the things we used to do was every day in the winter when it was really cold, I used to cook up soup for the kids, or we used to cook up a big batch of saveloys. And Cindy Oliver, as she was then, was 9 years old, and she had the record for eating 9 saveloys at lunchtime. That's not a bad effort when you're a 9-year-old girl.
It's good form.
Yeah, it's good form. Yeah, it's great.
So what's it like coming back to Tarras now? Is it sort of fun?
Oh, I love coming back. Yeah, I still come here to coach golf with some of the members of the club, and it's been wonderful this morning just to come back and see, the old faces and catch up with you. I'm going to digress here for a little bit because it was when I was principal here. There was a bit of a bug of the drinking water wasn't all that great, and just over on my right here, behind the school, was the toilets and the septic tank and whatnot, and running downhill, just down here on my left, was the pump shed where the water for drinking and everything. And one day we put dye down the toilet and it came out in the drinking water. So it was sort of changed then, and the pump was used just for irrigation, and we got a different water source for drinking. So it was things like that. I think one of the most anxious times I had here as a principal was when a builder was working here, and one of the kids was running around in bare feet, and he put a roofing nail, a lead head nail, through his foot. It didn't go right through. You could see the nail just on top of this, underneath the skin. And I thought, my God, what am I going to do with this? So I grabbed hold of his foot and the nail, and I gave it a yank, and I couldn't shift it. So I tried again. I gave it a real tug, and the nail came out, and that was good. The kid didn't, he buckled, but he stayed alert, and I rang the parent. You come and get this lad for me and take him down to Cromwell Hospital, get him a tetanus injection and just get this seen to just in case there's a broken bone in there or something else and whatnot. So that was 11 o'clock in the morning. After school, about 4 or 4:30, Catherine and I were going down to Cromwell to do some shopping, and the car was parked at the Lowburn Hotel. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll go in and see how the boy is. And the boy's sitting in the car, you see. So I went into the bar, and Dad was in the bar, and I said, how's your boy? And he said, oh, I don't know, we haven't actually got to the hospital yet. We're just having a couple of beers. Some of the kids were tough. Some of the dads were tough. So little things like that, Megan, when you're a long way from medical help and all that sort of thing, you think, oh, am I doing the right thing here or am I not? But I figured I couldn't leave the nail in there.
It didn't sound like the parents were too worried anyway.
I don't think he even got to the doctors. Yeah.
Is he still alive? He made it through that accident anyway?
Yeah. So it was, the same dad was, when I came here, things were a bit raffety, discipline-wise in the school, and I spent the first month making a few rules and making them work and whatnot. And this same boy, I'd give him a bit of a tongue up, and he said, my father will come and get you, my father's a giant. And I said, oh yeah, big deal. So after school, this bloody 6'8" guy comes walking in the door, and I put out my hand to shake his hand, and his hand was about, 3 times the size of mine, and shook his hand, and how are you? You give my kid a bit of a tongue up. And I said, yeah, I did. He needed it. He said, good on you. He said, give him another one tomorrow. And that was one of those moments. Yeah, so.